Yo, what's good, guys? It's Austin here, or Luna. So, today's story time is an interesting one. Definitely a pretty crazy one that I forgot about for a very long time. But then today, one of my old friends called me up, the same friend that's involved in this story time, and he reminded me of this. And I was like, oh shit, I need to tell that right now. So here I am. So let's just jump into it. So today's story time all takes place in 2014. Now, in 2014, I was still in my early high school years. I was definitely pretty young at this point, and I was just doing my thing as Kid Luna would do, I would just kind of go to school, play video games. I was actually working on videos at this point. It was very, very early on in my YouTube career. And I had this friend. Let's just call this friend Kyle. I met this kid Kyle at school, and me and him had been friends for about a month at this point. And Kyle invited me over to spend the weekend at his house. And I was like, yeah, man, why not? I got nothing going on. So I was stoked. I was like, Kyle had a pretty nice house from what I heard. I was stoked to go see what his family was like. I was just excited to hang out with my friend, basically. Little did I know, Kyle had one of the most dysfunctional families I would ever meet in my entire fucking life. Now listen, I'm not saying if you have a dysfunctional family, you're some fucking crazy person. My family isn't perfect at all, trust me. They got their dysfunction. But Kyle's family should win a fucking medal for being one of the most dysfunctional families I've ever met in my damn life. So today's story time all starts off as a normal day. I go and pack my stuff up. I go over to Kyle's house, and the weekend starts off very normal. The first night there was fine. Now, Kyle told me that he had a little brother, so when I got to his house and I saw that his little brother wasn't there, I asked Kyle. I was like, yo, man, where's your little brother at? He's like, oh, he's staying at a friend's house. He'll be back tomorrow. And I did not know that that meant that's when the chaos would ensue. So the first night, Friday night at Kyle's house, was completely normal. Everything was good. Everything was great. His family seemed awesome. And then Saturday rolled around, and that's when everything just went to shit. So me and Kyle are sitting in his living room Saturday morning, and we hear the door open, and Kyle goes, that must be my little brother. And he walks in screaming at his mom. I don't know what it was about. To this day, I have no idea why he was yelling so loud. But he walked in screaming his lungs out at their mom. And I look over at Kyle, and I'm like, yo, what is that sound? He's like, oh, it's just my little brother throwing a little fucking tantrum like he always does. I was like, how old is he? And Kyle's like, oh, he's 10 years old, but he acts like he's fucking 5 years old. He always screams and cries whenever he doesn't get his way. I was like, damn, like he's really shrieking right now. Like he's being loud as fuck. And he's like, yeah, man, just try and tune it out. That's what I do. So I'm hearing Kyle's mom and Kyle's little brother screaming at each other while we're playing Xbox. And I'm just thinking like, okay, you know what? This must just be the normal thing for Kyle's family. Like whatever, I'll tune it out and keep playing Xbox. So yeah, I'm just sitting there playing Xbox, listening to them scream at each other. And finally, the yelling stops. They stop yelling at each other. Kyle's brother goes stomping up the stairs. His mom walks back into the kitchen. Everything seemed to be at peace. At least I thought. But then a couple hours later, it got 100 times worse. A couple hours later, it was time for lunch. And Kyle's mom yells up the stairs, it's time for lunch, come eat. And Kyle's little brother comes stomping down the stairs. He comes to the table, he sits down. And of course, he picks the seat directly next to me. Like he's sitting right next to me, less than a foot away from me. And I'm just sitting there thinking like, great. Of course, this little fucking demon had to pick the seat right next to me. Now if he has a tantrum, I'm going to hear it. And he sits down next to me. He looks real mad about something. I couldn't tell what he was mad about though. And we just start having a nice normal lunch. And Kyle's mom's asking me questions. She's like, oh, Austin, like, what do you want to do when you grow up? Like, what do you want to go to college for? And I'm just kind of sitting there like, I don't know, but probably something to do with business or something. And she's like, oh, yeah, like, that's what I did. I'm a business major. By the way, I didn't actually want to be a business major. I was just saying whatever sounded professional to make her not think I was some kid that just didn't want to go to college because I didn't want her to judge me. But anyway, me and Kyle's mom get to talking about different professions and like business majors and all types of stuff about college. And then all of a sudden, Kyle's little brother interrupts us and goes, Mom, I want the new Xbox for my birthday. And I thought that was the weirdest shit ever to interrupt me with. Like he just immediately interrupted me with a demand. He was like, Mom, I want the new Xbox for my birthday. And she kind of gives him like a little chuckle. And she's like, well, honey, maybe when your grades get up a little bit, because right now your grades are slipping. If you can get your grades up by the end of this quarter, that new Xbox is yours. And he goes, why do my grades matter? It's my birthday. I should be able to get whatever I want on my birthday. And he was just getting real angry. He was raising his voice and shit. And his mom responds and she's like, well, honey, just because it's your birthday and it's the day you were born doesn't mean you're allowed to just demand whatever you want. That's not how it works. It's just a day to celebrate that you were born. And he goes, well, what the fuck is there to celebrate if I can't get what I want, Mom? That's exactly what he said. He swore at her. And she's like, that's it. Go to your room right now. And he goes, no. And I'm just sitting there like, oh man, like why do I have to be in the middle of this shit right now? So I decide, fuck this. I'm not going to be in the middle of this. I don't want to hear this right now. Like it's too awkward. I'm going to go to the bathroom. So I get up and I start walking towards the bathroom. And I walk in, I shut the door, I turn the sink on so I can kind of drown out their yelling. And I'm just kind of sitting there staring at myself in the mirror, letting the drama pass. And I start washing my hands and washing my face just because I don't know what else to do. And then all of a sudden, the yelling gets extremely loud. Like this kid, Kyle's little brother, starts yelling as loud as he possibly can at his mom. And I can hear it over the sink. Like I had the sink running and I could hear that shit over it. So I turn the sink off and I hear them screaming at each other. It's Kyle's little brother and then his mom and Kyle. They're all yelling at each other. And as I listen closely, I realize that it's Kyle yelling at his little brother. And he's like, you can't just keep yelling at mom. All you do is disrespect her. She treats you like fucking gold and you treat her like shit. Like, you need to show some respect. And then Kyle's mom was yelling. She was like, I'm not buying you the new Xbox. Like, you don't deserve it. You're not getting your grades up. You're disrespectful. And Kyle's little brother is just shrieking. He's like actually screaming like a little demon. Not even saying words. It's like that little fuck was speaking in tongues or some shit. And I'm just in the bathroom like, dude, when will this end? I can't sit in here forever. And they just keep going. Like a whole other 5 minutes pass by and they're still yelling at each other. And then I knew it was getting bad when I heard the mom scream, put that down right now. And I'm like, oh shit. What did he pick up? Like, who picked something up? So I open up the door and I walk out of the bathroom to see what's going on. And Kyle's little brother is standing on the lunch table holding a fucking knife. Just holding it right at his mom and Kyle. And I was like, holy shit, this little kid is a fucking demon. And he's like crying and screaming while standing on the table holding a knife. I honestly thought this little fuck was going to go full on Chucky mode and just like end all of us right there. He kind of fucking looked like Chucky, too. Like, honestly, it was really scary. I felt like I was in a fucking horror movie or some shit. And when I walked out to this, my jaw just dropped. And he looked over at me and goes, get back in the bathroom. That's what that little fuck said to me. And honestly, I wasn't going to argue with him. I was like, yeah, okay. And I turned around and I walked back in the bathroom. I was not trying to get stabbed by a little 10-year-old psychopath. So I had to go back in the bathroom because that kid threatened me with a fucking knife. So upon walking back in the bathroom, I pulled open my phone and started dialing 911 because I didn't want to see my friend's family get hurt. And I start dialing 911 and then I hear the sound of something hitting the ground really, really hard. And I was like, holy shit, someone's fighting. So I quickly open up the bathroom door again and I run out to the kitchen to see what's going on. And the little brother, Kyle's little brother, is on the ground. The knife is halfway across the kitchen. And Kyle is on top of him, holding him down. And that's when I realized Kyle tackled him off the table and disarmed the little fuck. He got the knife out of his hand and tackled him off the table. That shit's crazy to me. So I yell out, I'm like, what the fuck happened? And Kyle's like, I got it out of his hand, go grab it. So I ran over to where the knife was, I picked it up, I got it far away from Kyle's little brother. Kyle kept restraining him. And then I realized something. 911 was on the fucking phone. And I could hear them on my phone in my pocket. So I quickly ran into the other room and I grabbed it out of my pocket and I was like, hello, hello. And this operator's like, hello, 911, what's your emergency? And I was like, hi, my friend's little brother just pulled a knife on his family. I think you guys want to come check this out. And they did. They pulled up and they talked to the little brother. They talked to Kyle's family. They worked it all out, I guess. Kyle's little brother was going to be put into some like bad kid program. He didn't have to leave home or anything, but he was like put into these classes for anger management. And he started going to therapy. Also, I have to mention, I went home after this. I went straight home. I went home and I gave my mom like the biggest hug ever. I was like, holy shit, never will I take you or this family for granted ever again. But yeah, when I went home, I just kind of hung out at my house for the rest of the weekend. And I actually talked to Kyle on Sunday. I was talking to him on the phone. And he was telling me about what happened in like full detail because I didn't really know what happened because I was in the bathroom for most of it. And Kyle told me about how he had to like disarm his brother. And he literally jumped on the table with his little brother, grabbed the knife from his hand, like the handle of it, somehow got it out of his hand without stabbing himself, threw it across the room, and tackled him to the ground off the table. And I was like, dude, you're lucky you're alive. He's like, yeah, man, my little brother's crazy, but I knew he wouldn't pull it on me. I was like, I don't know, man. He seemed pretty angry. He's like, yeah, man, but either way, everyone's safe. I was like, yeah, man, fair enough. And yeah, that's pretty much where that story time ended. Kyle's little brother got put through anger management classes because He clearly had an anger problem. Everybody was all safe. Everybody was okay. And yeah, that's pretty much that. I'm still friends with Kyle to this day. I talk to him very, very often. And when he reminded me of this story time, I just had to tell it. So yeah, guys, I hope you enjoyed it. I definitely think it's a pretty fucking crazy one. If you did enjoy it, please leave a like on the video. I would really appreciate it. Feel free to leave your story times in the comments down below. And subscribe if you're new. I'll see you all later. Peace.